Naruto becomes a Jonin at 9 years old. In this timeline, he is born with a mind that masters jutsu instantly, and that single difference changes the ninja world forever. Congratulations, Naruto. You pass, and top of your class too. Perfect marks in both theory and practical. Iruka said this, smiling proudly at the blonde. The third Hokage sat next to him, and also had a pleased smile. You did well, my boy. With this, you were the second youngest ninja to ever graduate, and it only took you 1 year to pass. Naruto, aged 6, was smiling at the two. They were somewhat father and grandfather figures to him. Thanks, old man. Naruto caught himself. Sorry, I mean, Lord Hokage. The Hokage chuckled. I have some good and bad news for you, Naruto, Hiruzen said. Naruto asked what the bad news was, with a frown. Well, due to your early passing, and also being so young, we do not have a team to assign you to, so we will be placing you on a 2-man team with a Jonin. However, you will only meet with him in 1 month's time. That's the bad news, Naruto. Naruto didn't mind so much. He could actually see it as a good thing. Maybe he would lack some teamwork skills, but he would be able to learn that when he would collaborate with other teams. What's the good news? Naruto asked. Hiruzen asked Iruka to leave, which he did with a bow. Well, Naruto, you will be staying in the academy until then, but you'll be undercover. You will be transferred into the academy in a disguised new batch of students. We have information that Mizuki-sensei is a spy, and we want you to monitor his movements. How you do that is up to you. This will be a C-rank mission. You will be permitted to D ranks by yourself too outside the academy. However, you will need to do so in a transformed state, so you aren't recognized by anyone. Naruto simply nodded. Yes, Lord Third. I'll carry out this mission as well as possible. Well, it was a pain to go back to the academy, but he could always learn other things whilst feigning attention to class. Naruto was dismissed by the Hokage and made his way back home. He'd need to practice his disguises. On the way back, he took note of many children, their appearances, and contemplated how to become an average child. After reaching his house, he experimented for a while and settled on a boy the same height as him, brown-haired and green-eyed. He couldn't be too normal, otherwise Mizuki might get suspicious, so he gave himself these green eyes. After settling on his appearance, he fetched some basic clothes, blue cargos and a black t-shirt. He decided to have above average grades to make it easy to ask for advice and get closer to Mizuki. After confirming his plans, he cracked open a pot of ramen. It may not be nutritious, but a treat every once in a while was okay. After eating, he left his apartment to get some training in for a few hours. He went through physical training, shadow boxing, and tested various jutsus such as the wind bullet, which he learned last month. After a solid workout, he stretched himself out to keep flexible, and then headed back home to get ready for his mission. Too bad he can't wear his headband. The next day, he arrived at class just on time. He took a seat near the back, and sat quietly between a quiet boy and a quiet girl, whose eyes indicated she was part of the Hyuga clan. Hi, I'm Eiji. Nice to meet you. I joined the academy late, but I'm really excited to be here. He had to do what normal kids did to make friends. The two looked at him, and the boy simply said, Shino Aburame. Naruto thought, he's part of the Aburame clan. So this class seems to have 2 students from major clans so far. Students continued to pile in, and the other one next to him finally spoke, stuttering. Nice to meet you. I'm Hinata Hyuga. Naruto smiled and said, well, let's get along, Shino, Hinata. Naruto was still scanning the room, and he saw a few more people to take note of. A boy who looked exactly like the Hokage's advisor, Shikaku Nara, so he must be a Nara. Another boy had a beast-like look and a small puppy in his hood, so he must be from the Inazuka clan. A boy was eating next to the Nara boy. He's likely from the Akimichi clan. Probably means there is a Yamanaka in here as well. He was right as well. He spotted a chatty blonde with light blue eyes, talking to a shy, pink-haired girl. Then he noticed a black-haired boy with onyx eyes. His eyes almost widened for a moment, but he had to look like he was just zoning out, because that was definitely an Uchiha. How interesting, Naruto thought. His academy class was nothing like this. There were so many major clans in here. He had a Hyuga in his previous class, and a Shimura, but that was it. A teacher at the front took his attention, his target, Mizuki. He welcomed Naruto to the class, but under the name Eiji. Naruto stood up and introduced himself with a big grin on his face. Throughout the day, Naruto wrote basic notes in his notebook, even though he knew all of this stuff. He had to act like he was catching up. He kept a close eye on Mizuki and asked relatively intelligent questions to show that he was at least a little promising. At lunchtime, he spent time with Hinata and Shino. They didn't talk much, but Naruto didn't mind. The company, it was peaceful. It also allowed him to keep a closer eye on Mizuki's movements. Occasionally he would pretend to go to the bathroom and go find Mizuki to spy on him. He made sure to work on his abilities firsthand. He wanted to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he decided, after a week of being in the mission. He found little evidence. Mizuki was in the library fairly often and stepped out of class more often than he probably should. It was suspicious, but he couldn't find anything concrete. If he knew the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he could be in several places at once and keep all the knowledge. He decided he was asked to learn it from the Hokage. Later that day, Naruto stood in the Hokage's office with a stern face. I believe I should learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu. you. I believe it is necessary for my mission and development. Hiruzen stared back with a thoughtful expression. You do realize it's forbidden, right? For a good reason too, my boy. Naruto nodded and laid out why it was forbidden, and then gave his reasonings as to why he should still learn it. From his excellent chakra control, and the fact he had already learned how to use elemental chakra. Hiruzen rebutted, but Naruto had another comeback with logic. Hiruzen eventually relented and taught Naruto the concept and the seal. Naruto managed to do it perfectly on his second try, and it left Hiruzen stunned. Even if he was a prodigy, this was still incredible. They proceeded to have a short conversation about his plans, and Naruto thanked Hiruzen. Naruto had also been picking up a few D-rank missions a week. He'd done 10 by now. Another week passed. He had 20 clones in the academy collecting information, and admittedly he had 10 more in training, 5 in theory and 5 practically elsewhere. However, he had made good progress in his mission. He'd found a couple unauthorized scrolls with classified intel on the academy students and its structure, and a letter addressed to an unknown person, simply Lord. Naruto opened the letter carefully, using his chakra to make a razor blade even sharper. He'd looked through it and found a meeting spot, a time, and a place. He resealed the letter, and it was a perfect reseal too. That day, he was walking out of the academy, whilst talking to Hinata, and suddenly, veins spread across her temples. Naruto noted that she was awakening her Byakugan. He slowly coached her to let chakra flow evenly through her eyes, and then out to deactivate the powerful dojutsu. She was thankful, but after they parted ways, she was confused as to how he knew what to do. What she saw within him was a powerful chakra too. That was, in the small time she had activated it. It was calm and warm. Naruto had made his way to the Hokage and gave him the details. Hiruzen noted the mission as complete, as they had enough evidence now, and they could also introduce him to his new sensei early, as he'd arrived in the village today. Naruto was excited. Finally, it was time to be trained by a Jonin that could boost his growth further, especially now because he had the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Come in, the Hokage said. A man with black hair and a neatly kept beard entered the room. He stank of smoke too. Lord Hokage, he greeted tersely. Asuma, welcome back. I'm sorry to give you a mission as soon as you're back, but this is your new trainee Genin. His name is Naruto Uzumaki, Hiruzen said. Naruto bowed and greeted the man. It's a pleasure, Asuma-sensei. Asuma was stunned for a moment. The kid couldn't be older than 6, and he was already a ninja, and his chakra seemed under a great control too. Hiruzen then asked Naruto to give Asuma a debrief on what he'd found out. Naruto did so, and Asuma was amazed. Hiruzen then said, so you have a second part to this mission, Naruto, with Asuma of course. It's considered a separate C-rank mission. Capture or silence the traitor Mizuki. Silence, Naruto gulped. He wasn't sure if he was ready to kill someone yet, but if push came to shove, he didn't have a choice. He had to do what benefited the village the most. Yes, Lord Hokage, the two responded in unison. There was an hour until the meeting. They got to the location quickly and hid themselves, seamlessly and perfectly. Asuma was amazed at Naruto's skill. He had hidden himself, as well as most Chunin, if not Jonin. He decided to take time to get to know the boy. They spoke about the mission, his techniques being Air Bullet, Gale Palm, Great Breakthrough, Vacuum Blade, and the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Asuma was pleased with the boy. He was a genius, and a wind style user like himself. They also spoke about their likes, dislikes, and dreams. Naruto liked ramen and training, disliked the looks he got from the public, especially because he hadn't worked out why yet. And his dream was to become Hokage and take the old man's hat. He covered his mouth and says, the Lord Hokage's seat. Asuma laughed and said he liked the boy, and shared info on himself too. The meeting time came quickly, and Mizuki appeared in a dark cloak. Another man appeared. He was broad and had a deep voice. Mizuki, do you have the information? Before Mizuki responded, Asuma signaled to attack, and Naruto did so immediately, throwing shuriken at Mizuki and catching him off guard, embedding one of them into his leg. Naruto smiled at this. He had the advantage. Asuma immediately started fighting the tall, cloaked man, as he had the most powerful chakra. Naruto, on the other hand, engaged Mizuki, and had to use clever taijutsu to attack his joints and not get caught. He was a kid, so he still couldn't exactly beat Mizuki physically. By attacking the joints, he could cause maximum damage, and follow up with kunai and shuriken wire. His shadow clones would also help him catch the Chunin off guard. Naruto quickly managed to beat Mizuki, and tied him up in wire, but as he did so, the broad man attacked him, slipping out of Asuma's guard just for a moment. The man was severely injured, and began forming hand signs Naruto didn't recognize. A paper bomb was taken out of the man's pocket, then it doubled, and then it doubled again, and again, and again, until there was 256 of them. Asuma screamed at Naruto to get away, and luckily he did. Well, sort of. The man had killed both himself and Mizuki, likely to protect information, Naruto thought. He had a couple of burns on his hand and arm, but they'd heal without scarring. Asuma helped Naruto up, and made sure he was okay. Tried to bring him to the medical corps, but Naruto refused, and said he was a ninja, and Asuma-sensei needed to treat him like one. Asuma conceded and apologized, and then they reported back to the Hokage. I see, the Hokage said, with a thoughtful gaze. It was likely a foreign country trying to steal our academy's data in order to get a better understanding of our future military power. The old man sighed and lit up his pipe and took a puff before speaking again. "You two did well," he said. "You can pick up your mission pay from the front desk. We'll try to figure out what to do from here." Naruto and Asuma saluted the Hokage and left. Collecting their pay on the way out, Asuma decided to treat Naruto to a bowl of ramen. Naruto, of course, did not refuse, and they went to Ichiraku. Once there, he introduced Asuma as his Jonin sensei to both Tsuchi and Ayame. The two were happy for him, as he was now a fully fledged ninja. In spirit of this, the ramen was on the house, which Asuma had thanked the two for, as he watched Naruto scoff 10 bowls of miso ramen down. After the two left the store, they realized it had started snowing. Asuma had a good laugh, saying winter was finally coming, and Naruto didn't understand what was so funny. They split, and Naruto decided to take the long route home. He was walking and found himself on the edge of the Hyuga compound. He had a group of young kids shouting insults. "Your eyes are so creepy. You're such a weirdo." Naruto extended his senses, and he could sense about 5 presences nearby. One of them was familiar. He made a beeline and found 4 boys throwing snowballs at Hinata. Naruto was beyond angry at this point, and rushed in between them, swatting all the snowballs away in one fluid motion. The boys panicked for a moment, but then realized that it was just one kid, and then began to approach him. One suddenly pointed out he was wearing a ninja headband, but the leader of the group was like, "It's fake. No one our age could be a ninja." Did they not hear anything? His name was the talk of the village when he graduated, Naruto sighed. The boys attacked Naruto, but Naruto took them down without any effort. He tried to harm them as little as possible, and demanded they apologized. They did so whilst running away. Naruto turned to Hinata and smiled, helping her up. "Are you okay?" he asked, holding out his hand. She nodded. The boy seemed familiar. She took his hand, but started crying and covered her face. Naruto calmed her down, and moved her hands away from her face before wiping her eyes. "You know, I think your eyes are beautiful. They have no idea what they're talking about." Hinata went red and looked down. "Thank you," she managed to say. She looked at the boy, her vision going blurry again. She thought she started to cry again, but then she felt her chakra go wild once more, activating Byakugan. As she looked at Naruto, she realized his chakra was exactly the same as Eiji's. Naruto, like before, taught the girl how to fix her chakra flow. It worked a lot quicker this time, but this time, Hinata's eyes went wide, and she managed to stutter out, "Eiji?" Naruto's eyes widened as well, as he rubbed the back of his head. "Ah, you figured me out?" He laughed a little. "I'm sorry, but my name's not Eiji, and I'm not part of your class. Keep this a secret for me, please. I'm actually a ninja. My name's Naruto Uzumaki." He reintroduced himself with a hand extended. Hinata was amazed. The Naruto Uzumaki, who graduated a few months ago at the age of 6. She took his hand and reintroduced herself. I'm Hinata Hyuga. I hope we can be friends." She still stumbled on her words, but Naruto simply smiled. He didn't have any friends his age, so it couldn't be a bad thing. "I'd like that, Hinata. How about I walk you home?" Hinata chuckled ever so lightly and nodded. He felt his cheeks heat up a little when she laughed. So cute, he thought. Naruto chatted with Hinata on the short walk to the entrance of her compound before saying goodbye. He then started to make his way home. Finally a ninja, he said to himself. And just like that, 6 years passed. "Naruto, Kakashi, Asuma, good job on the mission. Daimyo is very happy with your performance. You're all dismissed," Hiruzen said. Naruto stretched out his arms and left the office. "What do you say we get some ramen? We just completed an S-rank mission after all. I can invite the others." Kakashi nodded. "As long as you're paying, Naruto." Naruto chuckled. "Why not? It's a big payday." Naruto turned his gaze to Asuma, who asked, "Well, who are you inviting?" "Well, I'll invite Anko, Guy, Genma, Hayate, Yugao, Yamato." Naruto then got an evil grin on his face. "You don't seem impressed. Maybe to get you to come, I'll invite Kurenai. But don't you go off somewhere, just the two of you, okay?" Asuma went bright red and tried to hit Naruto, but Naruto was too fast. Asuma scowled. "Why'd you go and have to become a Jonin? You could have just stayed weaker than me at least." Naruto laughed. "Well, it's planned then. I'll invite the others and we'll get some ramen tonight." Naruto separated from his 2 friends and headed to his apartment after using a messenger pigeon to invite the other Jonin to dinner. The last 6 years had been nothing but crazy. He had become a Chunin at age 7, a Jonin at age 9, and since then he had a short stint with the Anbu, but his name had spread too wide, so he wasn't very anonymous anymore. Since becoming a Genin, he had completed 50 D-rank missions, 112 C-rank missions, 89 B-rank missions, 80 A-rank missions, and 8 S-rank missions. It was quite the CV, and that's not all that happened. He'd learnt so many new jutsu, and mastered a few more chakra natures, including water and lightning chakra natures. His Earth release wasn't quite perfect yet, but many would say that he was a master. But Naruto had high standards for himself. He'd learnt many new jutsu, including Divine Wind, Beast Tearing Palm, Water Dragon Jutsu, Great Waterfall, Stone Wall, Mud Wave, Thunder Gate, and Purple Lightning, which he had created based on Kakashi's Chidori. Furthermore, he had learnt many sealing jutsu, most notably the Flying Raijin technique. Not to toot his own horn, but there was only one person in the village stronger than him, and that was the Hokage. Hiruzen even said that Naruto was nearing his level 2, just half a step behind. As he got home, he washed up and got into the shower. He traced his body with his fingers. He was riddled with scars and wounds, some fresh and festering, others distant memories. He felt that he'd gotten somewhat complacent. Not everything over the past 6 years had been good. Itachi Uchiha, a comrade he had fought alongside, slaughtered his entire clan, and now was an S-rank rogue ninja. He wanted to know why. He trained to be a hunter ninja, and located him years ago, but suffered a crushing defeat. He'd gotten stronger, yes, but Itachi had the Mangekyo Sharingan, which granted him abilities beyond his comprehension. Naruto also found out he contained the Nine-Tails Fox, and that's why he was hated throughout the village. Although, not so much anymore, due to his contributions to the village. Naruto, although living a fairly good life, found himself wanting more. He'd been training a lot, yes, but he needed to strive for new heights. That loss against Itachi burned him, and he'd lost a lot of confidence in himself, but no more. He'd just completed another S-rank jutsu, and he was no less talented than Itachi. In fact, he refused to be anything but the best, so he would have to make a plan to get stronger. He had his jutsu base for now, that would stay the same, but he needed more efficiency. That would make his jutsu more deadly with the same amount of chakra. He needed to make his chai jutsu so free that even the Sharingan wouldn't be able to tell what his next move was. His ceiling jutsu would have to hone to even greater heights to counter that monstrous avatar Itachi had. Finally, he wanted to learn Sage Mode, but to do that, he'd have to locate the legendary Sannin, Jiraiya, and convince him. Naruto sighed. He'd create a proper plan after dinner. Getting into new clothes, he left the house and made his way to Ichiraku. Arriving just outside, he already heard voices there. He walked into the stand. Yup. The others faced him. Asuma, Kurenai, Guy and Yamato were already here. They greeted him back with smiles. As he ordered a drink and a bowl of ramen, more faces arrived. Anko, Genma, Hayate, and Yugao. You've invited a lot of people, Naruto, Ayame said. Naruto laughed in response. Had a decent payday, so why not? There's another reason too, but not everyone is here yet, so I won't say why. Oh, I'm excited, Tsuchi said, Ayame nodding in agreement. Don't tell me. You got a girlfriend, Naruto? Ayame said. You've grown up so much. Naruto waved them off. No. But should I congratulate you two? He turned to Kurenai and Asuma. They both went red and shouted at him, telling him to stop being so annoying. Teasing isn't nice, you know, they said in unison. They continued to joke amongst the group, and half an hour later, Kakashi arrived. Late as usual. Sorry I'm late. I had to help an old lady get home. Naruto rolled his eyes. Sure, whatever you say. Kakashi sat down in the stool next to Naruto. Naruto then clapped his hands together. Well, today's celebration isn't just because I wanted ramen, but I wanted to congratulate Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma. I guess it's a year late for Guy too. The others turned their heads to those in question and looked confused. Naruto smiled. Congratulations on becoming Jonin Sensei. The others widened their eyes and laughed. Congratulations, they shouted in unison. Bashfully they accepted, and Naruto sighed inwardly. That's as long as Kakashi doesn't fail his team once again. If you want to see what happens next, subscribe to the channel for any future updates. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll see you in the next one.